Welcome to the Thunder. I am Shooter, and we've got my co-hosts, The Stash and Thomas Schooley. It is August in Florida, and we're still talking about hockey. So welcome back. Come on in. Pull up a chair. Pull up a bar stool. No, you know what I want you to do is I want you to take your chair that you're in. I want you to flip it around backwards like AC Slater and plop yourself right in that seat because, you know, that's what most Lightning players would probably do, I'm assuming. Anyway, boys, how's it going, guys? I know we had a little get together recently. That was a lot of fun. And we figured, hey, we've got some clarity on who's going to be on the Lightning this season. We lost some guys. We know who it is now. We got some new guys. We're going to go through that. We've got a game tonight. We've got some news to talk about. We're even going to go back to 2015 and listen to the first time that we tried to do this podcast. It's really kind of an experiment. So it's really funny. You got to listen to, there's no Schoolie. It's just me and the Stash getting lippy with each other. So anyways, how's it going, boys? How's the offseason going for you?
Well, I mean, you know, it's summertime, hence the tank top. It's hot as hell or wet as hell, or basically both at the same time in Florida. You know how it is. School is back in, right? So my boy is in kindergarten this year, just started kindergarten. So that's been a fun adventure. And yeah, I mean, come on, big things happening with the Lightning, right? A couple of big exits, a couple of big entries, additions, if you will. And I mean, I'm still counting days right now. We're less than 60 days away, right?
So, 54.
There he is right there, Thomas. He's on it. And yeah, like you said, man, Shooter, I had a great time when we went out a couple weeks ago in celebration of the last 2 seasons of the show and the cup and everything. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good, man. I'm excited to talk some Lightning hockey. How about you, Schooley?
Yeah, it was great with the season ending so late in the season. We don't have that many months without, and everything has been so pushed together. I mean, we went right into the draft, into the Kraken's draft, right into now the trades. It looks like Tampa's set on their team now, and this is what we're going to have. And then we have the tournament coming up here that we're going to discuss. It has been just nonstop. Of course, we had the Sonia stuff going on after the celebration, and we'll discuss that a little bit. And then I'm planning a picnic that you guys are going to be at. So
Yep.
It's been nonstop. It's been nonstop. Go still this whole off season.
Yeah, and there's been plenty of news, you know, even this week. So I guess we'll start off. I had a nice little chat with her earlier today. Sonia got out of the hospital. She had her bout with COVID and was in ICU for a while. And none other than Thomas Schooley was there to make sure she was released from the hospital. And I have a picture of this. It's one of my favorite pictures because Thomas Schooley is completely cut out of it.
His own picture, the picture he took himself and posted initially. This is how it was shared.
There's my hat. I see my hat.
You see the bill of the hat.
Whenever you can cut Thomas Schooley out of a picture, you got to do it. Anyway, Sonia is all right. Whoops.
There. It was very cool to be asked to be there for her clap out when she was released. She texted me and asked me if I could come and be there. And besides her husband, everybody else was doctors and nurses and people that worked there. So we were the only ones that were not part of the hospital staff that was there to watch it. So it was really an honor to be there and watch her come out of the elevator. The video that was put all over the news, that was from me also. And it was really cool to watch her come out and be able to hug Jimmy for the first time in 30 days. And then just her getting in her car and leaving. It was a great moment for her.
Yeah, that's definitely the best news so far this offseason. And by the way, hey, everyone in the chat, welcome back. Glad to see you guys back. And just wait. We got some good stuff planned for you today.
Oh yeah.
But all right. So what else in the news did we have? We had Cooper, who is kind of signed up to coach Team Canada in the Winter Olympics, which is really next year. Remember, this Olympics that just happened was delayed a year. I was reading about it earlier. I didn't really realize that is only if NHL players are playing, which is not set yet. And I think there was like a recommendation earlier this week. I saw something about like NHLPA recommended no, like the NHL players should not play in the Olympics. I think I am 100% behind. I would like to see NHL players in the Olympics. It's always been one of my favorite things to do. Although there's going to be a lot of Lightning players that are making their teams. Russia. Palat's going to be on. He's Czech?
Czech.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm crazy about that. Our guys really going out there and giving it all for their country, but what a cool opportunity that is for some of these guys that haven't done it before. Like, did they do it 4 years ago? Did they have NHL players?
No, but just real quick, that story that you're talking about was the qualifiers.
Yeah,
they don't want the players to play in the qualifiers, not in the actual Olympics.
Right. They're just saying hold off, basically. They're basically saying don't engage in any national team things. I don't know why I missed the word there, but activities until the NHL decides yes or no is basically what they're saying. They don't feel like it's prudent for them to engage unless they know 100%. Yes, you will be.
The Players Association wants to back the players and wants them. The players want to play for their countries.
Absolutely, every single one of them. I mean, you can't be a triple gold if you don't play for the Olympics. You know what I mean? So you can't get that distinction like one of our newest additions, right?
Yeah. So it's something that the players always wanted to do. So yes, they that's just wanted to throw that out there.
Cool. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that. It'll be cool to watch Cooper, even though I'll be cheering against Cooper for the first time ever. In Team USA. Oddly enough, I'll be cheering for Austin Matthews and not for Cooper. It's kind of like it's really going to mess with my head for a little while. And the other weird thing is they have to pause the season when they do that. So they take that 2 week break. So we'll see. I hope they do it. The only thing I worry about is just guys getting injured.
Yeah, but it's not the same kind of hockey in the international arena. You know what I'm saying? It's bigger ice. It's less physical. So I mean, I'm not super. I don't worry about injury per se. It's just a matter of if your team is on a good run and then you have an extended absence and then you're not in your mindset of the team. You're in the mindset of somebody else's fundamentals and whatever else. That's what I worry about. So,
yeah, and they play with a wider ice surface too, right? So it's not.
That was Vasi's problem when he first came to the NHL was that he was used to that international ice, which is wider, and so they had to teach him the boards for the US and the NHL.
Yeah, so more to come on the NHL and the Olympics, and the Lightning will be a huge part of that if it does happen. We do have something pretty cool that was announced this week. The Prospects Tourney. I like how they labeled it here for the baby bolts, the Lightning Prospects. So they're having this tournament with some of the teams that we played in the Central, and I think the Panthers are in there as well. And they're doing it over in Brandon. Oh, I thought it was over in Wesley Chapel.
Wesley Chapel. It's in Wesley Chapel.
It's in Wesley Chapel.
I just saw this here, and that was at practice at Brandon. So, yeah, Wesley Chapel makes a lot more sense because they have room for spectators and stuff like that. But, yeah, this is an awesome opportunity to see some of these young Bolts. So it starts September 18th. Looks like it goes through the 21st. Yeah, it's just a 4-day event. So good opportunity to see some of those young Bolts. I don't know if it'll be any of the guys that have a chance to maybe get up to the big leagues this season.
No.
They
have the roster right there. They have the roster listed. It's mostly going to be not even crunch players for this next year. You're going to have a few of the crunch people, but none of those are expected to be on be on the roster at all this year. Maybe the crunch.
Yeah, that they are the baby bolts. You're talking about like a bunch of 20-year-olds.
Yeah, these were the ones that were drafted last year and the year before. Hugo is one to look at, the goalie down there. He was impressive not last year. It would have been the season before that, training camp over in Brandon. There's a couple there that stand out as ones to watch that have been to a couple of these and stood out.
Yeah, someone was mentioning on Facebook when they posted, or they went and looked at this roster, and they were talking about the date of birth for all these players. I mean, like 97 is the oldest player for two players were born in 97, 98, 99, and then everyone else is born in this millennium. And then there's a couple of guys on here, kids, really, I'm going to say kids, that were born in 03. Like, these are 100% the baby bolts. It makes me feel very, very old looking at this roster. I'm going to say that.
Well, you are pretty old. So am I, but not as old as you. Hey, Scott's in the chat. What's up, Scott? Scott says you got to hit up the poutine bar at Wesley Chapel if you go. So, yeah, check it out. I'm looking forward to that. I want to go out there.
Homily anymore. So,
oh, they don't.
Yeah, they do. Smokes is there.
Closed every time I go. The last.
It was open during the last round of the playoffs, during the finals.
See, and that's the one time I don't do fucking concessions. So.
Too busy pacing around.
Yeah, other than beer. Like I find the closest beer shack, and then that's back. That's all. That's it.
All right. So I told you guys I got to get something off my chest here that was just announced today, I think, and I saw a lot of people talking about it earlier today as well. NHL 22.
Oh, this is number one bullshit.
Yes. Yeah. I had this just in case I need it. I usually just keep this on standby now because I do a lot of conference calls for work. And if I need to, I just throw this up there. Number one bullshit.
Number one.
And this is definitely in that category. On the cover of NHL 22 is Austin Matthews, Toronto Maple Leafs. And I think as Bolt Nation, we're all upset about that because we just won back-to-back cups. And if you didn't know this, Austin Matthews was on the cover in 2020 or NHL 20. So less than 2 years ago, he's been on the cover 2 of 3 years, and the guy hasn't won jack shit in his career. So I'm a little bitter about that. I thought it should be Vasi. So that's the question of the night.
Absolutely.
And I'll hand it over to you guys first. It should have been a Bolts player. I know we think that, but which Bolts player should have been on the cover of NHL 22?
Yes.
Well, we got the whole team.
It should have been the championship picture.
Yeah, we kind of talked about this right before we went on, where I said even if it wasn't a Bolts player, I could understand if it was Leon Draisaitl or if it would have been Connor McDavid. And I tweeted that out today. Those both would have been. Even something that had to do with the Kraken, I thought could have been, because the Kraken are going to enter this game. Now, in NHL, EA Sports,
or something instead
right?
Of player
EA Sports defense. The only time they have put the back-to-back champions on their covers was back when the Chicago Blackhawks did it. They did not do Pittsburgh players when Pittsburgh won back-to-back. So
that makes sense.
They kind of
that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean,
they kind of have diss teams all the time, but to have someone who hasn't even gotten out of the first round of the playoffs in his whole career twice is not impressive to me.
Yeah, me either. And I mean, I joke about the whole team like slightly because I do think that would be an epic thing, especially it's not a very regular opportunity you have, but maybe is a glass half full kind of perspective. Maybe they're hoping for a 3-peat, and they're doubling, like going to triple down, and hopefully, boom, they can put the Bolts as a three-peat next year. So that's that. And then I also agree with Blake here, and they need something, right? That's their consolation prize. The league feels sorry for the Leafs. This is their consolation prize. Blake's comment here, and I totally agree. Like Canada needs something, right? I mean, look, they got Killer was nice enough and took the cup to the Bell Center, right? So they could see it at the Bell Center, and Toronto got the cover of NHL EA video game, right? Those are nice consolation prizes for the birthplace of hockey.
Yeah, I think I'm with Sarah in the chat here. She said something about his mustache. I'm thinking like maybe like since they're on next generation consoles that they're trying to like highlight the whiskers of the mustache being such high graphics. And I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of.
All right. I'm tired of I've had multiple people on. Listen. Don't be jealous that a dude can go and have the confidence to just rock a nice freaking mustache, man. Come on. You know,
I thought about this today, and here's Joyce's comment. Got to be Cooch. I think that's why they didn't choose Cooch.
Yeah.
Because I think it would have been an even bigger uproar, except for Tampa fans. Because I thought about it today. I was like, how could you not pick Cooch? And then I went, he pissed a lot of people off. So maybe that's why. But
like, that's a lot of Montreal fans that won't be buying NHL 2022. You know what I mean?
Put Killer on the cover in front of the Bell Center. Oops.
Right?
I mean, we are really throwing shade at them this year. Everybody this year. But I mean, there was so many stories in this offseason that they could have chosen. I mean, even just a Marc-Andre Fleury in a Chicago uniform. There were so many stories in this offseason that they could have went with besides just plain Austin Matthews. It baffles me.
Hart Trophy winner. I mean, I don't understand how. I mean, how do you avoid controversy? Make it the Hart Trophy winner every year. Period.
But then you would never really get a goalie on it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, fine, Vezina, or you toss it up every other year.
Has to be a trophy.
One year's a Hart Trophy. 1 year is the. Maybe it's the Rocket Richard. Maybe you know what I'm saying. You take one of those, and you could even do, and you got to be the cover player. But I mean, Madden did it this year with two players. It's Mahomes and Brady this year.
Yep.
So, I think you could easily. Excuse me. Been drinking some light beer today. You could easily have an argument that multiple guys could be on that cover this year. Yeah, there
you go.
That's the one.
Somebody mocked up, NHL 20 with
love it
Cooch on it. That's a good one. And by the way, I guess I didn't have the picture of the actual cover. It's like such a weak like pose. He's just kind of like walking down the tunnel, but whatever.
It was on there on that story you had. They showed the cover.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I wasn't too thrilled, but who cares?
Yeah.
Like, that pose could be better.
I mean, I don't know.
You like that, Stash? You like that? I'm coming at you. I'm coming out here to blow a 3-1 series lead.
It looks like a warm-up uniform.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I personally, it's not a fucking album cover for a 90s emo band, right? Like,
is this Nickelback or NHL 22?
Let's get an action shot, right? Come on. Let's get some ice flying through the air. Let's get somebody taking a slapper. Come on, right?
We are such bitter little bitches. That's all right. That's
a resident Maple Leaf fan coming in throwing shade. I love it.
That's
I love it. Donnie
Pepin
throwing shade at his own guy. If they wanted to be more realistic, they should have had him golfing. Nailed it.
All right. So
gotta have action to have an action shot. Sarah coming in with a real burner there. Love it. Gotta love our viewers coming in hot here on a Thursday. But just like the weather.
By the way, if you guys out there can share or just like the video, that helps more people find us, especially just a random episode like this.
Yeah.
Sure. And I got to do my shout out to our podcast listeners who get to listen to us and not really see what we're sharing on screen. So I invite you guys to come join us live if you can figure out how to when we're going live. We'll have a schedule. We'll have a schedule during the season. And we are also trying to work out a little bit of a watch/birthday party, but no details on that yet. So stay tuned either on Thomas's group or on our page. Once we figure that out, we will definitely get that out there.
We haven't been completely idle in the off season. Some things have been happening behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, it's been nonstop.
Yeah, Stash bought Steven Stamkos' house, actually.
Yeah.
Damn it. Scoop me on it. Damn it. That's right. I couldn't stand Pasco anymore. I had to get back down to the water. And yep, as you can see, I basically live the Florida lifestyle anyways. So, I just figured I might as well go full captain on you.
Did you read that story on that? Like literally they knew Stamkos and said, "What's your move out price?" And he said 16 million, and they said okay. And I'm like, holy shit. I mean, and listen, people, I know I say he's my BFF, but really we're not that close. I must have been tagged and sent messages at least by 15 or 20 people saying, why is he selling at his house? Where is he moving to? If you read the story that people were tagging me in, it plainly states he's already bought a new house on Davis Island. He's not going nowhere. Yeah. This was friends of his from Boston that have known them for quite a few years. Asked what your buyout price was because his wife wanted that house, and Stammer said 16 million, and they said here. And it was actually supposed to happen right after we won the Stanley Cup, but they decided to let him have the time with the cup there at the house. And so now he's out.
Look, there's certain things about that house that are obviously amazing, but I don't know, man.
It's a lot of money for that house, right? It's all about the location on the water, Davis Island.
That's all it is. It's square footage. You're on literally, like that. Okay, there's certain look. I'm looking. You're scrolling through these pictures. Boom, that's it right there.
That's why you buy that.
Right there. That's
your 4 houses away from Hedman, also.
Right, and fuck all the all the interior shit sucks to me, but that right there is awesome. Like all the interior design choices on the house are freaking whatever. Dated,
so
old,
good for Stammer. He's got some money to buy some more property.
Hey, listen. It just comes along with living in Tampa Bay, right? He takes a little bit of a discount to stay here, but then the fringe benefits of living in this city and playing in this city, I think people don't quite understand how awesome it is to be a professional athlete and the access you have. I mean, how many other athletes in the world could say you live right on the water, but you're still only 10 minutes from the arena? And it's not even that far. It's like 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
take one of those scooters right down there.
Right. You're 5 minutes from work.
No.
Thomas can't.
But you know what I mean? Like that's a very unique situation to be in the NHL. Like not only do you play in an amazing location anyways, but then to be able to be on the island right there in the middle of the bay, have your own dock. We've seen dock talk. We see how accessible these guys are to each other, and they all go and live on the island together. I mean, that's a very unique situation. You don't get a lot of other teams in any franchise in any professional sport, let alone the NHL.
Well, and he used to live at the yacht club off of West Shore Yacht Club, which was still a little distance from the arena, and he wasn't by any other players. And then everybody started moving Davis Island, and he said, oh, let me pack it up. And he's only been on Davis Island, I want to say 4 or 5 years now. That was it. I watched the old house get tore down and the new one get built.
Yeah, which is, I guess that's surprising that those finishes are what they are, and it's not that old of a house. But anyways, go ahead. I don't want to be the one to crap on people's taste. Just kidding. That's what I always do.
Listen, Stammer, if you're out there, the Stash wants to be your interior decorator, and he wants to fix up your next place.
Every fucking baller. It'll look like a $16 million fucking man lives there.
Did you guys hear this? I think it broke today about the Coyotes basically getting kicked out of their arena.
Well, it looks like they had a deal in place to go back to I was reading up on it.
The downtown arena.
Yeah, go back to their old.
Yeah, so there's an arena downtown, and the Coyotes play out in like Glendale, which I guess is a little bit outside. I guess that's maybe like St. Pete versus Tampa,
right?
But without the water.
Isn't that where the Cardinals play too? Aren't they in Glendale?
I think so. Yeah. So there's like a complex, a nice little area there. Yeah. But basically, it was the city that owns that arena said, like, we're gonna end this lease after this next season. So they got to find a new home. A lot of people are talking about immediately, like Quebec, Montreal area. Well, I guess it wouldn't be Montreal area, but Quebec wants to take any professional sports team there is that's out there.
Houston does too.
Yeah.
I think it says that they are trying to build one in Tempe.
Didn't they play in Tempe before?
Yeah, but
because that's where
Arizona's become the number three or four TV market in the U.S. So they want to stay in Arizona.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I think they will. And that arena that's downtown, it just got like a full-on refurb. That's where the Phoenix Suns play. And I could see them just going back there. So I don't know if they're going to move, but we'll find out soon.
Putting hockey and basketball in the same arena, it really works well together. So,
yeah. All right. Well, let's start talking about what transpired during free agency, who we got, who we lost. We'll throw the graphic up there.
I don't remember who the Kraken took.
The Kraken took Yanni Gourde, which I predicted on our last
that's right.
podcast. Thank you very much. Well, another thing I predicted was Corey Perry joining the Bolts. Guys, if you want to start, like, we actually record this, so you don't have to record it. We record it for you. I might be like, I might have some insider information, or I just might have the mind of a GM. Like, as you'll see later, when we play the original We the Thunder, I kind of lay out why, I'm probably the best host on the show. And back then we didn't have schoolies, so I think I still am. But
pure blind luck.
Anyway, so who did we lose? We lost that whole third line. We lost the Nats, and we lost Tyler Johnson.
Yep.
So Coleman went up to Calgary, took the money and ran. Don't blame him one bit for that. Goodrow got traded. We traded his rights. We talked about that last episode, but he did sign with the Rangers for a decent chunk of change.
Dude got way overpaid. Love it.
It's a fair deal. We weren't paying him that
much. He's overpaid. I'm sorry. He's overpaid.
Yeah.
I love the guy, but that's at least $1 million too much a year for him.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, period.
Wait, Goodrow or Coleman?
Goodrow.
Really, both, really.
I would say Coleman got overpaid. Goodrow's on a lower contract. But only time will tell, right?
Like $3 million, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Goudreau's still like $3 million. I just don't know. Anyways, but good for them. Honestly, they earned it here, and those guys are going to have huge impact on the teams that they go to, because there's space for them to go and play their game in the top 6, and that's what they deserve right now.
Yeah, so we lost some key players there, like a whole line that really helped us win those cups, and Tyler Johnson, who's just been here, it seems like forever, and now he's up in Chicago, where we traded him, and we actually were able to take on some contract that we will sit in long-term IR, our favorite thing to do, the reason why everyone hates us. But hey, now we were able to sign some players. We signed everyone we needed to.
Missed the biggest loss of the season.
Who?
McElhenney.
That's damn right.
Yeah, we're gonna miss that guy.
You scooped me again, Schoolie. Man, the guy everyone loves to hate, our favorite punching bag. But guess what? Have no fear. We got our old punching bag back. Schuster's back. So our old punching bag is back, although he probably won't play here very much. The other guy everyone loves to hate is back. So
speaking of houses, real quick, you can rent Schuster's house on the Airbnb for $700 a night.
And we need to go do an episode of the show from his house.
From up to 9 people. 9 people are allowed to be in it. It's got a pool. It says you can entertain and everything else.
With us. We'll bring the production crew. Shooter and I are working on doing video production anyways, trying to always expand as it is. I'm all about it, man.
I would like to set up a GoFundMe. We just do it for like the 700. If you're a top donor, you get to come stay there with us. We'll throw a party that night when we do the live episode, and maybe we can get Schuster to call in.
It's down to $664 a night.
Oh, we got to jump on that.
We have to. We've got to do this, man. The top 6 people that donate get to be there with us because there could be 9, right? Or what? Maybe
up to 9 guests.
Right, and then, or maybe like 4 or 5, and then we could bring
3 bedrooms, 4 beds, 2.5 baths.
Oh, they don't get to stay though. They get to be there for the show. They're like there all night. Like that'd be weird, right? But like, I think you could be there for the show. We have like a little party, right? Like a little green room action, a sampler, and of course this fund me pays for everything. Like it's the full, you know what I mean? And then
more to come on that.
It'd be amazing.
It's got a barbecue grill, dining for 6, a covered lap pool. Bring your pets for pet deposit.
Oh, perfect. I never go anywhere without Oreo.
Listen, if we did a weekend, we could actually like do time slots where people get to come and hang out.
All right, this is a horrible idea. Let's move on.
Killer comes knocking on the door. Shoes? You there?
Right, that'd be pulls up to the dock on his PWC.
Honey, I'm here.
Do you guys? So I put like my projected lineups here on who I think is going to play on what line. Do you guys agree with this? I basically plugged and played like who we lost with who we gained. I think most people would agree with this. You guys can let me know if you don't. But I think the biggest question mark is that third line. Is that third line going to be what that third line is? Because I think everyone's pretty set on that fourth line being that fourth line. But I don't know. Do you keep Maroon and Colton together? They had a little bit of chemistry, it seemed like, last season. What do you guys think?
I definitely think Colton's your third line center. I think that's your future right there. That's the guy that you really want to look to see, especially going into next season. Or the next 2 seasons, right? Because then Cirelli and him will be basically looking for contracts the same time now, right?
Yeah.
So this is what you're looking at. You want to put him in that third line. You want to try and get him a little bit more responsibility. I think Barre Boulet is definitely going to be competing on that line. I just don't know. I don't know how you fill that line out. My problem here is that the Lightning have an assload of centers and only a few dedicated wingers, and certain guys you can go ahead and be like, hey, you're playing the wing now, right? Like Stamkos, even though it took Stamkos a while to really adjust from being a center his entire life to playing on the wing. And you saw Tyler Johnson struggled in this system that he's played in his entire career to play on the wing after being a natural center. As soon as he went back to center, he started playing much better hockey. So that's my only real question here is how do they figure out which one of these centers is going to be able to go and play on those wings? Because right now, that third line, all 3 of those guys are centers.
Yeah, and you know who I didn't put any.
Colton is 100% a bona fide center. He played on the wing a little bit, but he looked lost there too. That guy's the guy that's got to play in the middle, I think.
With Coop, I wouldn't be surprised if Cirelli and Colton switch places there.
Oh, I would be shocked. That second line has probably the best chemistry in any of the lines, if you ask me. The best natural chemistry.
Oh, I agree, but I don't know if he wants that third line to be that exposed.
Well, then that's why I think Perry might be on that third line. Honestly, I think you're going to see Perry on the third line.
And, we do have some guys that like ABB is not guaranteed to be on the opening night roster. You got like Jamel Smith, I kind of left him off here. And that was, he deserves to be in the picture here for sure.
And then also there's a lot of talk about Radish as well, about him competing to be on this roster, which he's actually a wing. He's not a center and he's an actual guy that plays on the wing. So, and Jamel Smith showed, he had some real pop and some real addition to this team whenever he had his opportunities due to injury last season. And, I could see him being able to somehow to come in on that fourth line if maybe you do put Perry on that third line. and maybe it's not a Joseph or a Barre Boulay on the fourth line. Maybe it is a Jamel Smith, So, I, and this is a good point here too from Gabe in the comment. He's asking, do you think Perry and Bellemare will be every night starters? I think they'll play most games, but the young guys will get some solid playing time too. I think that goes almost without saying, but it's a good point. I'm not trying to dismiss it. That's just kind of the way Coop manages his team anyways, because he likes to make sure you're ready for the playoffs. You never know what's going to happen in the second season and what injuries are going to happen. So he really does like to rotate those guys that are like on the fringe of the black aces or whatever they are, of being on the roster and not skating. He does like to rotate those guys a lot. So you will still see Radish. You will still see Jamel Smith. You will still see one or two of the other guys, maybe on the blue line too, that are going to come up in that seventh spot on the blue line.
Yeah, and I think Perry and Bellemare, they're definitely going to be part of probably special teams, which is going to be an area where we did lose we lost Coleman, and we lost Barclay Goodrow, and those guys were pretty steady on the penalty kill. So I could see those guys filling in, and that's what the Lightning are going to need from a Radish or whoever gets lifted up. And I think for me, that's the biggest question mark with this team is, who is going to be the guy that can really kind of fill in those last two maybe spots that really aren't solidified. They're really open. They're really up for grabs. And some of these guys we really haven't seen that much. Even ABB, we didn't really get to see that much. Like we will remember on.
Oh, no, you muted yourself. You muted yourself.
We've lost the host.
I got so darn excited about. No,
that was your best point ever.
Yeah, you guys. I just dropped the bomb. Remember, I was saying I just predicted pretty much half the season last season. I just dropped how we're gonna repeat. No, I was saying that.
Never know.
Yeah. I was saying that on this show, we were talking about we were all pretty excited to see what ABB could do in the NHL. And then all of a sudden Ross Colton comes up at the same time and just totally takes off. And ABB is kind of left in the dust because Ross Colton just had such a great debut.
Well, Lamar, he has a 61% face-off percentage. Mm-hmm. He is known for his PK. He looks like, and he's also known for his penalty. There's also a couple of guys that are going to be down in the crunch that that we've seen up here before. We've seen Dumont up here before. Walcott sitting there. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe somewhere in the season we see Otto Sampi, Lipinov, Jimmy Huntington. He's been having some good training camps, and he's been sent to that development camp in Wesley Chapel. So it's going to be interesting to see how his camp is this year too. But there's quite a few down there in the crunch that could make a splash up here if Joseph doesn't. It seems like every other year Joseph is on good, then off, then on, and then off. So he did pretty good last year. So is he going to be off?
Right.
How long do you stay with the ABB experiment? I've been a fan of his forever. Thought he was going to be another St. Louis. But I don't know if he hasn't had the consistency of play time, and if that's what he's looking for, then he'll get it. And as long as Coop stays with him, then he can show us what he is, because he's been elite in every single league he's been in. So,
yeah, the problem with we're talking about these guys fighting for these last couple spots on the roster is you're not going to get much time. Like when you get the opportunity in preseason, and when you get that opportunity, if you're on the squad at the beginning of the season, you're going to have to deliver. And that's a good thing to have on your team when you know that a guy on the third and fourth line is fighting for his spot on the roster. So I totally expect one of these guys to step up, but who's going to be this year's Ross Colton?
I will say the one thing the Lightning have, these guys have an opportunity for the first time in a long time to actually break into this roster. You know what I mean? We've been so deep for so long.
There's open spots this year.
We've been shipping talent away for how many seasons now with Verhage, Marchessault. We talk about it year after year. How many of these great players we haven't been able to keep because we don't have the opportunity at the NHL level for them to get the ice time they need. I think you're going to see a Barre Boulet get 80% of the games. Colton, he's not, especially with what he's getting paid now, that guy is going to be the center. And that's the other thing too. You talked about Bellemare and his face-off. Colton showed very great savvy in the dot too with his face-off draws. So that's why I don't think that Coop is going to be too hesitant in letting Colton be that third line guy for multiple reasons. Not only are him and Cirelli going to be up for contract at the same time, and I think Cirelli has had plenty of time to show what his potential. He still hasn't reached what everyone says his potential is yet, and I think it's time. I think the next 2 seasons are critical in his development. So I think those centers, as you have them there, Shooter, are pretty dead on. I think that's going to be your 4 centers. That's going to be the core or the middle of this team, and then it's really going to be figuring out that third line and who is really going to be that extra guy. Who's going to be those extra guys on the other side of Colton and really getting those opportunities. But for the first time in a long time, you will see these guys get opportunities to try and crack this lineup because you see Barre Boulet signed a 3-year deal. Jamel Smith signed a 3-year deal. Ratter signed a 3-year deal. So these guys are going to have opportunities for the next 2 to 3 seasons to play their way into opportunities to be a star on this team.
Yeah. And, the good part about defense is we still have got some pretty strong depth there. Everyone was kind of belly aching about Suster. Suster's going to be maybe the 7th D-man.
Maybe.
Like
the most of the time in the AHL.
Yeah. I mean, we might not even see Suster at all in Tampa.
We still haven't talked about the biggest, if you ask me, the biggest
Bogosian.
This post offseason is Bogosian. If you ask me, that's the number one biggest addition back to this team.
I don't know.
It's an extended deal. It's a very cheap deal. He wants to be here. I think he was very underrated in his production and what he added to the team in the first cup run. And that's a guy.
Actually, my biggest get was Elliott.
Yeah. I think that's much
finally
bigger.
A backup that I don't think that we could depend on since the Bishop Vasi days and before that. Nabokov, Bishop. So I think Elliott is actually, you can steal some wins off of Elliott.
Well, we can actually put in a backup that we don't have to completely sweat about, right? Like whenever we were watching the game and we had Curtis in and my kids would come sit down, I'd be like, listen, we got the backup goalie in, kids. It could go bad. And oftentimes it did. So we got a guy that is reliable enough, and we need to give Vasi some rest. I know he's a young guy, but he's also a big guy. I think he needs a couple more games off so he can play that entire playoffs, because we do want him to repeat that during the playoffs.
Yeah, back-to-back shortened off seasons, back-to-back playing every single minute of the second season. He could be just fine with 5 less games next season, I think. If he started 5 fewer games than what a normal starter would, you know what I mean, in a full, and that's the other thing, we're gonna actually have a full season this year too. So if he were to have 5 fewer starts than a regular number 1 goalie would, and let Elliott even maybe play some of the back-to-backs and let Vasi have those nights off or whatever, yes, that's something he needs. Whether he probably would be like, no, I play every minute, I'm number 1, this is bullshit. But no, he needs the rest.
Yeah, so that's what it's looking like. And anyone that's doubting the Bolts, I see people from other fans dishing oh, they lost so many players. Yeah, we did, but I mean, look at the roster still. That's how much depth we had, and not just depth. Our GM's pretty good too, to be able to bring in the guys that he brought at the price that he brought him in. I know people aren't crazy about Perry, but you know what? You should be, because he's on our team now.
You should. You absolutely should be very happy about that guy. I mean, here's the thing. We just won back-to-back cups. We lost 3 guys, right, that now are cup winners. We just put two more guys back on our roster that are cup winners. One of them already won with us before, and Perry's won. He's a triple gold we talked about earlier, right? Yep. So That guy, he's got a world gold, Olympic gold, and a Stanley Cup. That guy's got them all. So that guy's a freaking winner. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lightning didn't lose much. Did they lost some people that some players that fans love? Absolutely. We lost some fan favorites. There's no doubt about that, right? It sucks to lose a guy like Yanni, who's young and who is personable and was so engaging, and it was great for the face of hockey and great for this franchise. But you know, that guy needed a bigger stage. I think that guy needed a bigger stage. He didn't need to be behind Point and Stamkos and Kucherov and all these. I like that guy could easily go be the guy, and that's good for him. You know what I mean? Johnson needed his do over. And if it wasn't for the salary cap not growing, I think Coleman would still be here. I really do. I don't think Coleman would have taken as much money to stay here. And if the salary cap grew like it was supposed to, I really do believe this year JBB had designs on being able to keep a guy like Coleman, but without the extra $4 or so million. I think I've talked about this before, that we would have had. That was impossible. So for what he had to work with, the fact that he was able to still bring back 2 cup winners after losing 3, that speaks a lot to what we have here and what guys want to do. And you saw Bogosian. I mean, well, I don't know if you guys, I saw the way his family reacted, and he called his agent and said, "Get it done, whatever it takes. I want to play in Tampa." His family
last season when he was a free agent, the Lightning offered him a contract. He said, "Let me try free agency." Tested it out. Called the Lightning back and said, "You know what? I want to come back to the team." And they said, "Sorry, we've already used that money." And he signed with Toronto. So as soon as his contract ended this year, he had already told his agent, "Contact Tampa, get me back in Tampa."
And he got a taste of losing. He got a taste of what it is to play for a bunch of losers. He wanted to come back to Tampa Bay, right?
Like literally, he missed his name on the cup for a second year by a couple days. By a couple of days. And how about the unsung hero, Seabrook? Thank you for waiving your no trade clause and coming to Tampa.
Lightning legend. And by the way, we're talking about NHL 22.
And Gaborik.
We're talking about NHL 22 earlier. How's Patty Maroon not on the cover of NHL 22?
Hey,
back to back? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
You're not wrong, dude. He should have been big rig. He should have been full big rig too. Panama hat, no shirt, scarf, fucking Cuban. That's what we deserved as gamer hockey fans this season, with the fucking big rig on the cover.
Are you guys ready to play some games?
Give me like a pause. I got to
tinkle.
Take a bathroom break.
Yeah, we'll just play our commercials. Don't worry about
it. Our sponsors. Oh,
no, we're from our sponsor.
Let's see if I have any of our videos lined up here. No, we'll talk shit about you while you're gone. Don't worry.
What else would you do? Talk about me when I'm here. Talk about while I'm gone. That's how you know people love you, right?
The review of the new Oreos.
Those look disgusting.
Hey, we could talk about the fact that Sheeter has 2 kids in middle school now. What's that like?
That's really not a hot topic. Here's what I'd rather talk about. So we'll talk about Stash while he's gone. I was at the Stash Manor on Saturday night, and we recorded the what do they call this? The kids call it the Hot Ones Challenge. I did not do it. I was the host. Somebody had to stay sane and run the operation. But the Stash, our buddy Khan, who's been on our channel before, and actually his fiance Jessica, they did the Hot Ones Challenge, and it was a blast. So we recorded it. We actually recorded it with 3 different cameras. So we're gonna edit it together, and we're gonna put it out there, and you can see Stash cry tears of pain from eating these wings doused in fire, just absolute fire. So what it is, if you guys haven't seen it, it's like a TV YouTube thing. They usually interview celebrities. So I made up like 10 questions. They do it 1 question per wing. There's 10 different wing sauces, and they get hotter as you go. And I did it off camera after we were done, after we did the whole thing with them. I only made it to 6 and my mouth was on fire. I like spicy stuff, but not like fire spicy stuff. And everyone was crying. You could see like when they hit the wall, which was actually after 6, where I was like, no, I'm good. You could see them deteriorating. And I'm asking like the stupidest questions. And they're like, why are we answering these questions? My mouth is on fire. They're drinking milk. They've got like donuts that they're chewing on. It's I'm waiting for Stash to send me the video that is on his phone so we can get it out there, but it's fun. So stay tuned for that. We mentioned we're going to have a watch party. What's the date on that? Just so we can get people ready.
October 14th against Detroit.
So early in the season, less than 2 months away, we will have this watch party. It's going to be a location. This is just not confirmed yet in Tampa. And we're just trying to figure out the logistics and details on that. And so two things to look forward to, the watch party / birthday party, and also the Stash's mouth burning full of molten lava hot sauce.
And picnic next Sunday, week from this Sunday.
That's right.
Like champ.
Okay. Spring.
We've got 2 more segments. This is special. We're not really cranking up till, we'll probably do a couple episodes right before the season starts, but not any more until then. So we're going to go a little long this one. We're almost at an hour. This is where it gets fun, though. We're going to play some games, and Schoolie is now leaving. A good thing I stay seat belted into this seat. One thing you guys don't know.
Yeah.
One thing you guys don't know about me is there's actually a seat belt that I'm in right here in case things get like the turbulence kicks up. I don't fall out. I don't think you guys have ever seen me actually stand up in this chair or move around at all.
Because you don't wear clothes.
Yeah, what he doesn't mention is what's like the other part of what's holding him to that seat, because there's the strap on top, but there's also an anchor.
Anyway, this game is called let's full screen this baby so you can see it. I totally forget how to do full screen. Let's do it.
Professional.
Okay. So basically what we have going on here is a game that I've designed that was based off a lot of players that are obviously gone. This first question, we have 3 players. They are all sadly gone now. But this all happened last season. What happened was the Bolts started putting out playlists on Spotify. In fact, they're probably still out there. Don't go cheat. But basically, I wanted to test the boys here, and anyone that's out there watching live, you can play along in the chat. I want to see if you guys can guess whose playlist these are. Now, remember, this is last year's squad. I did give you options here. So for this one, it is either Yanni Gord, Blake Coleman, or Barkley Goodrow, one of that Nat line. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so it's easier to see. Yeah, there we go. So on this playlist, again, a Bolts playlist, we've got some Morgan Wallen. We've got
a lot of Morgan Whalen.
We got some Machine Gun some Rehab, some Darius Rucker, a lot of Morgan Whalen, actually.
I think it's Coleman.
All right, so we've got Coleman. Schoolie's going Coleman.
Because I think Coleman was a country boy.
Yeah, it's Texas. It's definitely, I totally agree. This is the Texas guy.
Everybody's saying Coleman.
Yeah.
Let's see who it is. You guys are so good. You know what your players listen to, or your ex-players. But yeah, you got it right. Don't worry. It gets harder as we go.
That's what he said.
Let's see. Exactly. Let's see. All right. So we got round 2 here. We got Tyler Johnson, Patty Maroon, or Ryan McDonough. You've got some Jason Aldean, some Chris Stapleton, some Luke Holmes. You also got some Travis Scott, Jack Harlow. You got some Blink 182 on there.
Maroon.
The boys are going Maroon. Do we have any takers in the chat? Let's see.
Once again, we got another vote from Maroon.
Sarah Sam Maroon. Everyone's going Maroon, and it is Oh no, my reveal's gone. that did not work. Well, I can tell you it is Tyler Johnson. You guys missed it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Tyler Johnson. By the way, when I put this together, I didn't realize none of these players would be on the team anymore.
TJ coming with freaking Blink-182. Did not expect that.
Yeah, I like that one. I used to like those guys back in the day, back in high school. All right,
Billy. School.
Next round, only 4 here.
Joseph,
Pop Smoke,
Khalid and Drake.
Yeah.
Pop Smoke, 7 Lions, Morgan. I guess I got to listen to this Morgan Wallen guy.
We'll go with. No, he's the guy that lost his SNL gig. Remember? During COVID, like coming right out of COVID, he was like supposed to be the guy on SNL, and then he was like some party with a bunch of like teenage chicks from his high school or something, and he was like French kissing all these chicks, and then like he was supposed to be rehearsing for SNL like 2 days later, and they were like, "Nah, dude, nope, not happening." He got lucky, if you ask me, and he was able to do it like a month later, but he totally lost his initial opportunity on SNL
for making out with girls.
Yeah, during COVID.
The fuck.
And kind of like high school chicks too. Kind of.
His girlfriend was at home having a baby.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there must be more to this. All right, that's horrible.
He was out tonguing a bunch of high school chicks.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is Matthew Joseph.
You guys are both going Matty Joe.
He's also the one he's the one that got caught using the N-word. That's why he got canceled from everything.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I feel like this is Alex Killorn.
Going Killer?
Yeah, I'm going
Sarah's
Killer.
Going Andre Palat. Chuck's going Matty Joe. Let's see who it is.
Going Killer. Oh, it's
Matty Joe.
The pop star thing threw me off. I thought that sounded like a little. I feel like a little bit like a Killer thing. You know, I like
only reason why I picked Matty Joe is you're never there early enough for warm ups, but in warm ups he is singing half those songs, and
the Pop Smoke song is
his TikTok is pretty good.
Yeah, I know he's kind of a gamer guy too, and the whole Pop Smoke thing. Like, I definitely thought maybe it was Matty Joe, but that, like I said, the Drake thing made me second guess.
All right,
burps tonight. I'm sorry for my burpiness.
This is the European version. Okay. Both beats. You got Vassy, you got Sergey, and you got Hetty. We got some Pink Floyd, Wish You Were Here. We got some Coldplay. We got some Led Zeppelin, Stairway to Heaven. This guy's into the classic stuff, except the Coldplay
and Eric Prize, which is like
vastly
like beats, like a electronic. So I mean, you've got some, and that's Paradise by Coldplay too. That's not like, you know. I think this is Hetty.
Chuck in the chat's going Vassy. Stash is going Hetty. Schooley's going Vassy, and it is Andre Vasilevsky. Yeah. You guys
That's
know
the one that discovered Gravy Train.
Vassy was?
Yeah, it was his playlist that
Young Gravy.
Yeah, it was his playlist that they went and said, "All right, what do you guys want to be the team song this year?" And he played Young Gravy.
I love it.
It turned into the team song that year.
Damn.
Yeah, I feel like me and Vassy would be like such best friends if we just met one time.
That's how I feel about Killer.
All right, we got 2 more rounds of this. Don't worry, it's almost over. All right,
God.
Here we go. 4 songs. Wow. You got Killer, Ruda, Braden Point, Off the Offspring, Self-Esteem. That's a greatest hit right there. Eddie Money, Take Me Home Tonight. UB40 in the Outfield, Your Love. I don't know that one, but I like this playlist. I'm into it.
It's got to be Pointer.
You think it's Point? I think this is definitely Killer. This looks like Killer.
It was Killer or Point. I was like, let me go with Pointer.
Yeah, I got to go Killer here.
All right, so we got a Killer, we got a Pointer. Sarah's going Pointer. Kevin's going Pointer. Let's see what we got. It is your favorite top defenseman.
Jam Ruda.
I knew it.
I call him Rutu. But
Rutu. Ooh, that's his name. What do you mean when you call him Rutu? That's his name.
Hey man, I like his style. That's a good playlist. All right, we got one more. And then you got to stick around for the final segment because we are going to jump into a blast from the past. I think it's hilarious. You guys might hate it.
Oh my God.
Stick around. All right, last playlist. Just 4 on this one. We got Chernak, Sergey, Palat, What do we have on this one?
Avicii.
I don't have never heard of any of these.
Oh,
You
this
don't
is
know
all
who
EDM.
Avicii is?
You know how Avicii
No.
was?
Oh, yeah. Dead now.
Avicii, Armin van
R.I.P.
Buuren.
Okay,
I do know
what you're
how
talking
Armin
about
van Buuren is?
No.
Wow. Okay.
I know Rockin' the Cash Bomb.
That's
I'm gonna go
though.
Sergachev.
I
It's either him or Chernak, I think.
You know, I think it's Palat.
Going with the Palat.
I'm going with the Andre.
It don't matter. I won this game finally.
I like a Palat.
All right, what else we got? Chuck's going Palat. Lynn's going Sergey. Kevin's going Sergey. It is.
I like a Palat. I knew those Czech boys love their techno, man. They love their EDM. I knew it had to be him.
All right. Well, I'm glad we finally played this game. I think I put this together like before.
I just realized that me and Andre might be best friends too.
I was trying to think of anytime the players stop after. Anytime the players stop after practice, they always have their radios on, and I always look inside their cars to see what they're listening to. Ooh. So I was trying to think of who would be listening.
That's number one bullshit right there. As you might listen, Rob said, don't go be looking at the Spotify playlist. I didn't. Here you are with your bullshit.
Coburn was a huge metal person. He was listening to metal all the time.
That doesn't surprise me.
All right.
By the way, shout out to Chris Cornell today. I know it's completely random, but you brought up metal, and I had a post on Facebook that had me going on a deep dive of Chris Cornell YouTube videos today, and man, just shout out, man. Too bad we lost that guy early. Move on.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up tonight, going way back to 2015. Let's set the stage here.
Wait, do we want to announce the big thing before we show them?
Oh,
yes, please.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Do we have a link for that or anything?
Listen, this isn't necessarily like the biggest deal or whatsoever or whatever for like a lot of people, but
it's the biggest thing that's happened to us in our entire freaking life.
For little old us, and especially apropos, as they say, since we're doing the Wayback Machine and going back to our very first episode, this little podcast.
Yeah, I have a website to go to for it.
Has been recognized, and I will hand it off to Schoolie because he's the one that's brought us to our attention. And without further ado, let him know what this little show is doing right now, Thomas.
Well, We the Thunder has been nominated for Best of the Bay, Creative Loafing's Best of the Bay, Best Podcast, and Best Radio Internet Show. Two different categories. This year they only took the top 20 in each category. I was told probably, what was it, about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that we had been nominated, and we wouldn't find out until today at noon came out the top 20 in each category.
And what did I say? Being the optimist that I am, no fucking chance.
Listen, hey, I'll tell you right now.
It's www.vote.cltampa.com, and we are in the entertainment category. If you go down, if you go and pick the entertainment and go under Best Podcast, we are there, and Best, what was the other one?
I'm
going to pull
Internet
radio show.
Yeah, Internet Radio Show. And then Tampa Bay Lightning's Best Sports Team. John Cooper is Best Sports Coach. Vinnick is Best CEO. And then me, I am up for Best Mover and Shaker and Best Networker, which I do not know what Mover or Shaker is. I've Googled it twice and still can't figure out.
I don't want to see that. That sounds a little bit like a shuffle to me. And listen, we can keep that private.
So right there, if you go to the categories are right there underneath, select a group. If you go under entertainment.
What are we under?
Entertainment.
Yeah, that one that you just moved away from 3 times.
Yeah,
it wasn't. Their website's not as smooth quality as the show is.
You probably have a shit ton of windows.
There's internet, best internet radio show right there. It's in alphabetical order. There you go.
I don't think we have a chance for podcast, but maybe this one we do. There we are.
Look at that. Or,
no, you got to register. Yeah, we got no chance. Anyway, throw some vote. I would love to win this thing. I would really like to win.
We were talking about it a little bit before the show started, and I'm all about going. There's some other of our fellow Lightning gentle fellows and other people, as you will, nominated.
Not against us in these categories. There is no Lightning podcast or Lightning people against us in either of the two categories, which really shocks me on the podcast. There's several others that, of course, we say ours is the best, but you have Jay Retcher and Eric Erelson who does theirs. You have the Block Party with Seth. So it's really unreal that they were not in against us. If you go, there is no Lightning anything against. There are some radio personalities you see right in front of us. Miguel and Holly's on that one. And Johnny B from the 102.5 The Bone is against us, but literally nothing Lightning related.
And then Johnny's a family friend. I'm going to Ham Harbor. I'm going Billboard Wars with Johnny B. I'm going full social media Billboard Wars with Johnny B. in the Bell family. Let's do this. I know that whole plan. And
you have Best Sports Writer. Unfortunately, it's three of the Lightnings, or I think four. I think it's Burnsy's on there. Joe Smith, Eric Erelson, and Jay are all against each other.
Sorry, everybody else, but it's always going to be Joe for me right now. So I love everybody else, and it's no disrespect, but if you ask me, Joe's the guy that's been doing it longest. He's the guy that's the OG, and he leads the way for everybody else when it comes to Lightning media. That's my opinion.
All right, so we got to start posting this.
We've had them all on our show, so I mean, it's not like we are biased.
Yeah, we've got to be one of the smallest shows that's on here. So we know that you guys come and you enjoy when you're here, but not that many people know about this show. So if you can get out and vote and, just get your grandmother's phone out and just vote for her, maybe we got a chance. I don't know.
Yeah. Listen,
it was amazing. We had talked about this when
we got together for dinner.
Yeah, it got told to me shortly before we all joined for dinner, and then we joined for dinner and talked about it. And I think the day for dinner was the last day to vote for it and be in the top 20. And then today at noon, that's when I reached out to you guys and said, what day are we doing the podcast? Because I'd looked and seen that it came out at noon today. So I wanted to wait to see the final ballots, and we were on there. It shocked me.
Wow. Yeah. Hey, little old us, right? And it's really, I mean, we've been doing this, as we're going to find out here shortly, for 5 or 6 years now, but it really wasn't until last year that we really started going full tilt. And really when we added you, Thomas, I think that's really when we found our stride. You need someone to kind of break up the duo of Shooter and the Stash, if you will. As again, I feel like we're gonna find out here by listening to our show, our very first show. And I think with that, that's a pretty good segue, don't you?
Yeah, because this is gonna be interesting for me, because when we just went to dinner, I had told them before they reached out to me asking me to join the podcast, I was just like, who are these douches? And like I had not even I'd seen their animations, but now when I finally got invited to the podcast, I got to put faces to it, and now I know these douches. So we're gonna watch 2015.
Nothing's changed in his opinion.
Now I just got a face to them. That's it.
Confirmed. Yes, confirmed. That's all. Confirmation. That's all this has been.
All right. So we actually had done a couple podcasts, and this is way before we did any animation. Me and the staff decided, let's start a podcast, and we should have probably stuck to it and been doing podcasts for like 5+ years now. But what we did was we did a podcast every week of the NFL season in 2015, and it was freaking exhausting. I'll tell you that. So look at us now. We go after
They're doing
every
single
Lightning
post
game.
stuff, right?
But anyway, during that, like, you know, I'll say the same thing today. The only podcast I want to do is about the Lightning. So while we started the NFL one, I was like, dude, I got to talk about the Lightning. And this was after that 2015 playoffs. So this was when we were so close to winning. I was so pumped. We were also pumped about the team. There was so much to talk about with this team being so young, so talented. Yzerman, the plan starting to come together.
Man.
We were just so excited about the team, and we decided to just throw on the recorders. And this is what you get when you do that. So let's start it off here. I'm going to pause it. If you guys want me to pause so you can comment, just raise your hand and I will pause, because I'm going to pause a couple times for different things. But let's start with the intro.
Oh yes, I forgot about this.
The Undertaker.
What on earth allowed you to let me start this off with church bells?
It's like Gravedigger. It's like when you're at the monster trucks, you're announcing Gravedigger. They do the bells all around Raymond James.
This is what.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it goes on.
This is a creative decision we made. This is it.
Then it gets serious. Put on your news hat.
Bro.
This is why they were never voted for Best of the Bay before.
This is why we didn't keep doing it before.
All right, everyone. Welcome to
Hey, by the way, we didn't preface this.
What? Wait, what'd you say?
We didn't preface this of the location, like how far we've come, right? Because this was recorded at my dining room table of our old townhome in West Chase, Oldsmar, back in the day. And this is on a little handheld dual microphone recorder. And we're like sitting across from each other at a table, at literally just a kitchen table, and a little mini pocket recorder in between the two of us. And like, I don't even know if we had our laptop. I think maybe you had a laptop, but like we had maybe we're like trying to like look at a little bit of stats and stuff. Like I don't even know what our equipment was, but I know our audio setup was literally this. Oh,
I had this same laptop.
Yeah, the same laptop. And I'm surprised it's not right there because you had it when you were here over the weekend. But the little mini recorder, we still have that. That was our very first audio equipment. So, man, we definitely have come a long way. So listen to this intro, and it technically it's the same intro, but just listen. Yeah. Anyways.
All right, everyone, welcome to
the Thunder.
No, you weren't supposed to say it. I was gonna do.
You can't really hear it.
Hold on, let me turn it up.
You.
I think hopefully this works so you can hear it, and you don't hear it through my mic here. No, you weren't supposed to say it.
Better. Yeah, that's definitely better.
The Thunder.
No, you weren't supposed to say it.
No.
I was gonna insert a bolt of lightning right there and say the Thunder.
But you don't even really have to pause because then you could just say it.
Oh, that's true. Less than 15 seconds in, already bickering.
Wait, the funny thing is, it's 6 years later, you guys still do that same thing. Like, wait for it.
Hey, listen, consistency is key, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
It ain't broke.
But if it was broken, still just go with it. All right, so let's hear it.
Obviously, we're new to this, so obviously, and I don't know if that's going to be our intro for every week, folks, but I think that's going to be a work in progress. Shooters try introing the show.
Nope.
We got some feedback and let us know.
That's it.
All right, so this is I can't not pause now. You're supposed to pause. Like there should actually be some sort of like comma or something there, I think. So the Thunder.
Did you write a script for this show?
Our show. It is a Tampa Bay Lightning podcast. I guess we should say there's no affiliation to the Tampa Bay Lightning.
A Bolts fan podcast about the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Exactly. This is a fan podcast. We have myself. I am Shooter, or Shooty Shoots, as my friends know me.
Shooty Shoots in the house.
To my right, we've got the Stash.
Stash in the house. Too.
And to my left tonight, we've got our co-host for this show, Free.
Hey. What's up, Free?
So let's try to explain what we're trying to do here. So for the first 5 minutes, we just try to explain what we're trying to do here, and pretty unsuccessfully when it's pretty simple. We're going to talk about the Lightning, which we don't get into until like 20 minutes into the podcast.
And say there was supposed to be a comma there. So did you have a script?
No, see, and no, because early on that was a thing. Like we really did try to like prep a lot harder, a little. Not. I don't know how to explain it, but like we had these ideas of like, oh, we've got to like have a script, we've got to have like more. And now it's very loose. Like 5 minutes before the show, I'm like, all right, what are we gonna like? Shooter does every show. 5 minutes. What are we gonna do? And through the week we talk. You know what I mean? We figure out now, but still, it's very much like, okay, what's current? What are we going to talk about? Back then, it was like, oh, let's for 3 days, let's have a list. And you have a list, and I have a list, and I don't know. But
and that's something I like about this show is that we don't know really what we're going to talk about. I mean,
we riff a lot.
Shooter will usually throw something out at us, but then we usually go way off topic and end up somewhere else. Well, So yeah, I mean, and that's what I like. I mean, or we'll start debating it right before we go on, and he's like, "Save it for the show."
Yeah. Well, and also, Free, Jeff, our friend Jeff, is like our third buddy between Shooter and I. We hang out a lot. Him and Shooter grew up going to school together. They both have roots in Baltimore, and we just hung out. Last week, right? The three of us got together like last week. So. He was and by the way, during the time of this show, huge Philly guy, right? All about Philly, all about the Flyers. And what now has happened since we last saw him, Shooter?
Full on Lightning fan.
Full convert. He is full on now this season a Lightning fan. So
he announced it to us.
Yeah, and also he talks very quietly. I think it's something we find out also in this show, right? Like Jeff.
Yeah. Well, let's play it because this is where I intro him.
My name is Jeff.
The Thunder.
All right. Now we're gonna have to stop with that dramatic pause. He's gonna kill me.
No, we're gonna have Lightning in for maybe.
It's gonna be like your signature and do like certain like.
He's trying to emulate William
edits.
Shatner.
I'm gonna do certain edits later on after we get like enough followers and blooper gag reels. I'm just gonna edit the shit out of you where you have like this super long, like hour-long pause between we and the Thunder, and it's gonna become your shtick.
Brilliant idea. All right, so let's get down to hockey, though.
Okay.
Enough BSing around.
Well,
but let's start about telling about our. By the way, I'm like, let's get down to hockey, and then for the next 20 minutes, we talk nothing about hockey. So Shooter and the Stash is a separate show that we've just started on the NFL.
The sit down.
So
that's our NFL show.
Yeah, come check that out. But what we wanted to do is our passion. We're super fans. We're super Tampa Bay Lightning fans. We live here in the Tampa Bay area.
Sarah got the reference.
We love the Tampa Bay Lightning. Right. And then Free here is kind of the yin to the yang. No. He's not. I wouldn't call him a Tampa Bay Lightning super fan. He has allegiances. I think he's a second team. He's a Lightning fan. But first and foremost, he is a Philadelphia Flyers fan. Don't turn off the broadcast.
Don't stop listening. It's okay.
Audible groan.
We'll contain him from talking about the Flyers too much. But I figure instead of me and the Stash just saying, "Oh, the Lightning are the greatest team of all time. They're so great. They have no weaknesses," we'll now have someone that can say, "Whoa, Shooty, you're way off base there." So that's kind of the idea behind having Free on the show. And we're pumped for the season.
Yeah.
That's my pumped voice.
Yeah, we are.
That's mine too. Yeah.
Yep.
Last year, building something that I think is a product that's going to be effective for years to come.
You were right.
fan of hockey in Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and there's more fans than ever right now, and
Yeah.
obviously the long cup run plays into that. But that's also the reason why we're doing the show is because we want everyone, the Tampa Bay Lightning community, to participate. Like we're both in. I don't know if you are, but Lightning Strikes is a Facebook group with a ton of people, and they're always
I'm in it.
active. So we're gonna post up. By the way, the shout out to Lightning Strikes. This was before Thunderbolts, Thomas. Don't get upset. And I don't even know, is there still a Lightning
No.
Strikes group?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Oh, are they? Because I'm not a part of them anymore.
Yes.
So for some reason, we were
got
all
kicked out of
about
that
that group.
I got kicked out of that group. I remember now.
I must have too then.
No, I did.
Probably.
I did. Well,
Here's the fucked up part about it. Probably for just sharing this podcast.
Yeah.
Where we're giving them praises. They're like, you're advertising. We're not selling shit. Okay.
well, and then a lot of dumbass new fans too. And I mean, I don't have a lot of patience for, people. So.
All right, let's see. We're halfway through here.
Past, we've had some controversial posts in the past on there before. We'll talk about that later.
That was me.
I don't know who that could be coming from,
but also like this fire, which I haven't joined yet, but I'm definitely going to join that group. There's
Honorary member
for Tampa Bay Lightning fans. So this goes for those people. It's only people that are going to really listen to us. We're fans just like you, so we want your feedback on what you want to hear about. Want to have you on the show, meetups, whatever. We'll figure it out as we go, kind of. That's.
By the way, 6 years later, we finally got the shit together.
Hey, man. Hey, better late than never, right?
Oh, we do.
Right.
So
go ahead. I was gonna say, so I guess that'll take us into when we started watching hockey. What gave us our love for the sport? Because I mean, I think it's very.
Fast forward.
Way to fast forward because we've heard that story 800 times at this point. 6 years later.
Well, we go around the table and we talk about like
how sleepy did I was like? Was I on Prozac or some shit back then? Like
probably.
Like
but
what the? I don't
we
know
spend
if I could, like scissor or some shit. It was like on the scissor person. Oh, man, what the fuck?
We spent the next 15 minutes talking about like how we became Lightning fans because we're not from here,
right?
And again, we don't start talking about the Lightning till 20 minutes in. to our Lightning podcast.
Hey,
but
first episode though, it's an origin story, right? Like were the X-Men and fucking X-Men 1? No, man, they didn't become the X-Men until like the 18th or 19th book, right? Like there's all the backstory and stuff. So I mean, you got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, so it gets interesting here. I swear. I think that was the funniest part. But I think the thought what was interesting is what we're talking about back then, and some of the same stuff we talk about every season. But let's play it.
So FanFest, though, it was pretty interesting. They had interviews.
Oh, we went that year. That's right.
Kaiserman and Vinnick, which were pretty good, and obviously there's nothing too revealing with those. But they had also one with Brian Engblom.
nice.
Who is the new was it TV play-by-play announcer? Basically, he took over for the Chief.
No,
he
he's
will
the new
be
color
taking
guy.
over.
Yeah, he's the new color commentator.
So it's
Rick
cool
does
that
the
we got him. He came from NBC Sports, so that was a
yeah.
huge score in the offseason. Even though I think we're all on the same page that we all wanted Chris Digman to get that job.
That's not where he wanted. I don't think that's where he wants to go in his career, though. So
you don't think so?
From interviews, look, I mean, I don't know the guy. We've obviously met him a few times, but I don't know the guy. Just interviews that I've read, he said that that's not really where he wanted to go during the whole game because he likes to be able to really watch the game.
All right, let's stop right there. Engblom, 6 years in now.
Fantastic.
Pretty good decision, right?
Yeah.
Nothing against Chris Digman. But I think we all approved of that, right? This was his first season. They had announced him, and that's why he was going to address the crowd.
Yeah.
I like the used equipment sale because I'm the only one at the
It's the good part
here who's actually a hockey player. Just for those that are looking for the real story there out there.
You're my
By the way,
that's the most lively. That's the most lively I was the entire show so far. Like everything else sounds like I'm on bro. That's like the most legitimate laugh I've had so far. So please go ahead.
listen, by the way, 1 goal, 1 assist last night. So you can still get that hockey player mentality commentary from me. So you can still get that
Got
feedback.
echo from Schoolie.
I'm muting Schoolie. Why is Schoolie watching us on a delay?
Why is he watching us on his freaking 1985 tube TV?
All right, so I wanted to play that clip just so you guys realize I was still talking the same shit back then about how I play hockey. Except back then I was actually like decent. Now I'm just horrible now.
You're now maroon. You're now maroon, but like
I am.
I'm
totally maroon.
You're like maroon going back to play on roller hockey.
All right, let's see what else we got here.
But I will say they have done that used equipment sale for years now, and it's very.
You hear me in the back.
Prices just keep going up and up. This is the first year I did not buy anything because it was just. I'm not going to pay $150 for something that's used, like a pair of gloves with a hole in them. You know.
As we start to lose listeners.
No, because there's a lot of people in Tampa Bay that play hockey, and they're gonna listen to me over you guys just because they know I play too. Wow. And I'm legit on the ice.
Wow. Same response, dude. 6 years later, something's never changed. Wow.
3-on-3 is gonna change the game. It's the biggest rule change.
All right, so we start talking about rule changes. This is before the season started, and there were some serious rule changes. 3-on-3. They also brought in the coaches challenge for goals, but I thought the 3-on-3 part was good conversation here. And Stash, I don't think you were really sold on it, but let's hear.
They've had in the last
Since
couple
they went
years.
to 4-on-4.
Dude, see, obviously my hockey players out there know what I'm talking about right now.
Oh my God, shut up.
And
dude.
the
There's
staff.
I'm not saying it's not real. It's a big deal.
Sounds like you. So 3-on-3 is going to open it up, and I think it's definitely going to benefit the Lightning because it's going to benefit.
Has any podcast duo split up on their first episode? Because it almost happened here.
Shut up, dude. We've almost fucking split up like 80 times at this point. Like we might as well be fucking Weezer at this point, dude.
It's true.
They did.
After every season, like it's like after every album, we just like we're not a band anymore. After every season, we're like fuck, we're done, and then suddenly we're back.
So what do you?
I'm sorry, I didn't raise my hand for that one. Sorry.
No, yeah, you know what? We're going on mute.
Players out there and 1 defensive man. If they put out 3 forwards and no D, it's gonna drive me nuts.
They will. It's going to benefit a lot of teams, actually.
Right. I mean, and the thing is, I think that it's too soon in the first season to say that it's going to benefit one style of play over another.
So, by the way, if I recall this, the Lightning were the first team to win a 3-on-3 overtime game.
Yep.
Jason Garrison was the first player to ever score one.
My boy, man. I love Mr. Garrison.
What do you guys feel about 3-on-3? Like I kind of like it. I mean, I don't want to ties, obviously. Believe it or not, they used to do ties.
Yeah. Hate it.
Do you guys want to change it? Which,
by the way, the fact that they don't have ties anymore is the reason that Andrei Vasilevsky isn't as good as Patrick Waugh. By the way, if you pay attention to the internet. But aside from that, I still don't like 3-on-3. It's fun to watch, but as far as the game goes, and as an old school fan, I
like the shootout.
I mean, I like the shootout. That's cool, but I would rather still see like a 10-minute 5-on-5 overtime period, and then if no one scores, then go to a shootout. That's what I always preferred. But hey, it's all about brevity and about TV and being able to package it. You know what I mean, and be able to sell time slots. So as far as revenue goes and as far as building the sport and building the league, I'm a fan in that aspect of it. But as a pure for the love of the game and the fact that I hate when sport is played a certain way for a certain amount of time, and then suddenly because you get to this end of time, now it's a completely different game out of nowhere. I'm not a fan of that, but I am a fan of anything that builds the sport and builds the league and brings revenue to the NHL.
There's been some great goals scored and great storylines on the 3-on-3. But I there's nothing like that penalty shot slash shootout shot where it's 1-on-1 against the goalie. I like that. That's made, I mean, Point for his first year, that's what he was known for, those penalty shots. You knew we had
has one of the greatest penalty shots of all time.
Yeah,
and, they changed the rule because of him. So
you knew if we were doing penalty shots, Point was going out there.
Yeah. So some huge rule changes that year that are still in effect. Let's see. I think
they've only expanded on actually too. They've gotten
the coaches challenges and stuff like that. I think there's only 2 segments left. One of them is one that we seem to hear every freaking year, including this year. I think it's the next segment.
You need to go back and watch this one in the Bandit, bro.
It's a
Trace Stamkos.
For some reason,
Trace Stamkos.
No, did you hear? Stash is yelling at me. You need to go back and watch some Smokey and the Bandits. But anyway, we transitioned quickly.
We need to soundbite that, dude. You need to soundbite that and use that as like fucking sit. Look, we'll do. Yeah, I like that. Remember that.
Well, you know what it was about? We were talking about Eric Condra, and he went to like Texarkana or played for Texarkana with
He's down and down.
And we're all, I don't think this is the segment, but we're all like jazzed about getting Eric Condra. Like he's going to be the one that puts us over the hump.
Yeah, you know what though, and just to like go back to what I was talking about before, he's I think a prime example of when this team was super deep in talent. I mean, he tore it up in the AHL. He was leading the AHL in goals. He led them to the championship, I think, that year or something like that. Like I think that was the Calder Cup, or like right after that they went to the playoffs. He came up and played really well. He wore number 22. That's why he was my favorite, because that's my favorite number. My son was also born on that day. But anyways, it was I remember that.
All right, let's see. I think
it was a big topic that year.
I think we talk about something else here.
The Amalie Arena then this year. So I think that's a huge upgrade, but really that's not the biggest story of the Lightning offseason. And this one's one that's going to ruffle some feathers. What's your thought on the Stamkos non-deal?
So Stamkos is due to be a free agent at the end of this season, and he became a free agent, if you remember, and obviously signed back with the good guys.
This was his ability to sign the extension before being a free agent.
So this entire season, all speculation. Remember, the season before, wasn't he injured for most of that season? Yeah. So they were in a rush to re-sign him. And we didn't know what was going to happen, but here's what we were talking about.
I guess you would say
for me, it's a non-story.
Don't you think it would have been a great idea to sign him and not have to worry about this and this not be a story right now?
It would be a great idea, but at the same time, you know what I also think is a great idea? Not to question freaking out. That's where I got it.
Do you think he's trying to sign him? Because in the back of my mind,
yes.
In the back of my mind, and maybe in the back of his mind, he's thinking, do we need to spend $8 to $10 million a year on Stamkos?
Yes.
I agree with you. I think you should.
This is why Scully and I are best friends now.
I said I agree.
I'm sorry. There's this team. You can say what you want. It's almost okay. Never mind.
By the way, we're still talking about the same shit every fucking season, aren't we?
I just realized that I was probably a little like 10 beers in by the time we did this show this year, that night too.
Probably.
I can do it. Let's make a reference. Don't make it.
Not yet.
But I'm just saying, you can take away the best player and be like, oh, look at all the steps we have and blah, blah, blah. Stamkos is the best scorer in the league, except maybe behind Alexander Ovechkin. Obviously, he has more goals, but he's not really a team player or whatever. So anyway,
at that time.
At that time.
probably lose 10 places in its scoring, in its ranking in goals per game. Honestly, I think it would drop from being number one to probably number.
I got you off there at the end. Anyway, that is a glimpse at how this shit started. And I don't know. I think it's gotten better. I think it's definitely gotten better. And
Likely.
and there's only one way to know that. That's only if we win
That's right.
the CL Tampa Bay. What is it again?
Vote-
Creative
vote.cl
Loafing, Best of the
Tampa.com.
Bay.
That's right.
Creative Loafing Best of the Bay. You got to vote for us. Chris, you missed it. We already talked about Cooch not being on the cover. Absolute number one bullshit. There is one more thing we totally skipped over. We totally skipped over.
The new deal? Was that what
This
you're talking
deal?
about? Yes, this deal. I realized halfway through the recap of that podcast, we totally missed this branding opportunity and revenue, right? When we were talking about revenue, this is what you remember, Nick? Because we need this revenue, right?
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
The NHL and the teams need this revenue. So if you're out there bitching about these advertising patches on the sweaters, stop.
Just go look at the NBA and see what's happened there. Is it horrible? No, I think ours in the NHL are supposed to be a little bit bigger. We're also in sweaters, not like
tank top. And also, this isn't EuroLeague football. We're not going to replace the lightning bolt with a freaking Advent Healthcare logo. Okay, that is not going to happen in hockey. There's never a chance that the main team logo gets replaced on a hockey sweater. There's too much tradition in this sport and in this league for that to happen. Okay, now there are European leagues or moto, or like other moto teams and stuff that you could see. Hockey sweaters in Europe are completely different. There are leagues that are just look like NASCAR race cars, right? And maybe that might be the future of the NHL. I don't know. But as for now, 2 or 3 patches to help recoup some revenue lost during the last 2 or 3 last 2 COVID seasons, I'm a fan of that.
Who do you think it's going to
like
be?
The Stanley Cup patch. It's going to be just like, an all-star patch and everything else.
Right.
Exactly. Most of the people are bitching that they don't want it on their sweater when when they buy one.
But they don't do that anyways. You have to option all of that.
You have to buy the
option
patches
to see.
usually.
You have to, that's
for an
all
extra
optional.
$20. Trust
minimum. Fucking minimum.
Who do you guys think it's going to be? They went Dex imaging on the helmets when they did that last year. Any chance we get like a Mons Venus patch?
No.
It's going to be, you said it, Advent Health's probably.
Advent.
Or Chase.
Chase probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe Vinnick pays from his own foundation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or what, Thomas, what'd you say? Like you did a post about the Disney's new, their line thing, right?
No, I didn't do it. Victor did it. It's their new lightning pass or something like that.
So maybe we get a little Disney, little mouse on there.
Fast pass. Now you have to spend $15 or something, and you get their lightning pass now.
Wow.
Perfect branding opportunity.
Okay.
Bud Light, there you go, Kevin. I like that one. I don't think they're going to do any alcohol sponsors on the jerseys, though. I mean, and definitely no Mons Venus.
No.
By the way, 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, group tickets for the preseason game in Orlando go on sale on Thunderbolt. So if anybody wants to go to the preseason game, we do have a group discount, and they're going to be up at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. The link will go live where you pick your own seats, pay, and everything else. We have a picnic on the 29th where we're going to be raffling off lots of different things. We got some Malectronics stepping up, sending us some Bluetooth speakers. We have some other people sending some goodies. We're going to have some autograph stuff. I know there's going to be a stick up for grabs. There is
what?
Yeah. something down your alley though, Stash. There is going to be new
Corn?
tank top that's coming out.
Okay.
I don't.
I need
Scott's modeling it right there.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before.
This company actually just sent us one to raffle off with all proceeds going to the Spring of Tampa Bay, which is for domestic abuse women's shelters. So we're hoping to raise quite a bit of money for that. So come out. It's going to be at Julian B. Lane Park at 1:00 on the 29th.
Yeah, I'll be there. And as these guys know, I don't go many places, so this might be your only chance to meet me.
Yes,
Not that that's going to be the draw.
I know I have a draft that weekend, but I don't know. I don't think it's that day. I can't remember now.
You better come.
It's literally the only live in-person fantasy draft.
Yeah, my buddy who was supposed to go to the Rays game with me this Sunday goes, "Oh, I got to cancel. I got a live draft in Spring Hill." And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Listen, man, it's that time of the year, okay?
You know what made my life a lot better? When I stopped playing fantasy football.
I know, fuck you.
All right.
Meet us at the picnic. There is going to be a special raffle for just for the podcast people.
Yep.
Cool. You got anything else, boys?
Man, excitement.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get one or two special guests at the picnic also, hopefully. So
yeah, come meet up with us there. Go vote and make us the best podcast, or I think internet show. I think internet shows are our thing.
No, I think podcast we have the less competition.
Really?
Yeah, let me see real quick.
Sarah won that speaker, by the way, during the postseason.
That's right, she did.
So
yeah, that speaker is real good.
That Mel Electronics speaker. So,
who's running the music at this party?
Oh, it's gonna be DJ Stash.
We're gonna have the some of the Bluetooth speakers there.
DJ Stash.
So best podcast, $10K Dollar Day. Never heard of it. Barely Legal podcast with Josh Sheridan. Never heard of it.
Well, stop telling people about them. They're going to go listen and be like, fuck these guys.
Like somebody who used to be a senator in this state.
Miguel and Holly's the only podcast that's anybody famous that's against us.
Yeah, but they're on, that's the problem is they're on the radio, so they can just like talk about it on the radio, and you know, we're doing one podcast a month right now.
They didn't know or care. You know what I mean?
Maybe I need to make it. So when's this last? Maybe I need to make a little animation. And
September 5th, I think.
Yeah,
September 5th.
Right past Ostachios turning of the
2 weeks.
calendar.
2.5 weeks. I don't know. Maybe we'll get something going. All right. Well, until then, stay tuned. Come meet up with us for the Thunderbolts. Go follow Shooter and Stash. Stay tuned. We will be back on a schedule when the season starts. We will probably jump on with Eric or Joe before the season starts for a little preview show. But we're going to be pretty quiet until then. You got to follow us, and we'll let you know about the watch party and stuff, which is going to be early in the season. So,
and look out for our very first produced video as well that they were talking about while I took my little bathroom break. The wing challenge that we did. A lot of experimentation, but I think it was a very good evening. A lot of fun. We had a great time doing it. And actually, Shooter, I got to talk to you because I got to figure out if we're going to try and compress that video for me, or if I just got to come over your house and try and transfer it, because that's like 4.5 gigs of that video. Yeah. So maybe we just download the same compression app or whatever. But yeah, you guys be on the lookout for that, because, you know, we're never stagnant. That's one thing that hasn't changed from 2015 to 2021. Shooter and I, we're always trying to do new things and more things and keep engaged. And with Schoolie being added to the program here, that only makes it bigger. So yeah, you know, stay tuned, and I can't wait to see you guys at the picnic, man. It's gonna be good times.
Until then, this has been We the Thunder. Don't forget to be the Thunder.